Hey
Hey
besties,
besties, you're welcome to another episode of Curious Minds. I'm your host for today, Clara Jegede, and with me,
I came today, Vanessa.
yes. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Or the week is still going on, but I hope the week
Yeah.
has been treating you great. So today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, and that topic is culture clash, growing up between two worlds. Now, what does culture clash mean, and what do I mean? What I'm saying is that culture clash is the feeling of living between two worlds. It is when you feel like, oh, at one point, like one person, one version of yourself shows up when you're with your family, and another version shows up when you're with your friends. I know a lot of us we've experienced this kind of thing. Within our family, we'll be all
Yeah,
quiet,
quiet and calm.
calm. But when we are with our friends, we are all like very
Vibrant
loud,
and
very
loud and
vibrant, and all of that.
yeah.
So now, and another one is about being traditional and also being modern. You know, in this world that we live in our generation, it's all about being modern and it's a whole different thing from back then when in our parents' time. Their own time was more traditional, you
Yeah.
understand? But now our own is like just live freely, it's just
Little
more
bit of
modernized,
tradition and then more
more of modernized,
modernized.
modern and all those things. So that's what culture clash means, growing up between two worlds.
So growing up, Jesus, like she has already said, growing up between two worlds can actually be very challenging. Do
Mm,
you understand? Especially when you grow up with a parent that, let's say your mom is from Edo and your dad is a Yoruba person. Do
mm.
you understand? There are some things you would do in presence of your mom, according to her own tradition and
Tradition,
belief, you'd be like,
exactly.
that is wrong.
Mm,
Then there are some things you do in front of your dad as a Yoruba
mm,
person, and you'll be like, okay, this is right or this is wrong.
mm,
Take, for example, now, I fall in this category. My dad is a Nigerian, and my
mm,
mom is not a Nigerian. Do you
mm.
understand? So there's this belief that my mom has, like, if she drinks water or anything, and then I take out of it, according to our own tradition, in Cameroon way, she'd be
Mm.
like, oh, a mother is not supposed to drink and remain something for her
Oh,
child.
child. Okay.
Do you understand? And when I ask her, she'd be like, don't question me. That's just the way
Mm,
it is.
mm,
But if
mm,
I do the same thing in front of my dad, he
mm,
sees it as a normal thing. Do you
mm,
understand? And it can be very challenging to an extent because you have to like combine the two tradition,
mm,
the norms, the culture, and everything
mm.
together. Do you understand? So it's very, very hard. Do you understand? But at the same time, it can be fun in a way.
Yes, in a
Do you
way,
understand?
exactly.
Because you have a mom that's a parent, one parent is from this part and
Mm.
another parent is from this other
Other
part.
part,
Yeah, so it's
yes.
like something like most of that. Oh,
Mm.
my dad is a Nigerian, my mom is not a Nigerian. Do you understand? So
Mm.
yeah.
True, true, true. Especially me. My mom is a Yoruba woman, while my dad is from Benin. So I'm more in tune with like the Yoruba side of me
Mm,
because I grew up in Lagos. I grew up with that particular part, and I
yeah.
mostly went to mostly been to my mom's
Side.
side and my mom's side. But when it comes to my dad's side, I'm not really like in tune with it. And even if someone asks, "Oh, where are you from?" I'll be like, "Ah, I'm from Edo, Benin side." Now, yeah, speak
Yeah.
the language. I'll be like, I don't understand anything. I don't even know one word. Maybe the only thing I know is
Me like me go.
Emigro, but I'm not really like in tune with that part. But I'm more in tune with the Yoruba part. That's like it's kind of clashing, you
Yeah,
understand?
kind of
Because one
clashing.
part of you is there, but is at the same time it's not there. You're
Yeah.
not involved in it,
Yeah.
and the other
You're more
part
involved in the
you're
other
more
parts.
involved in the other part. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes can be like, especially in the society we're in, especially in Nigeria, they will feel like, oh, you need to like
Go with your
go with
father's
the
side.
side exactly.
Yeah.
You need to be more in tune with it
Yeah,
and
just
all
like my
that.
mom's side now, it's not like that. In
Mm,
Cameroon, it's not like that. A woman has like full possession of her children. Do you understand?
okay.
Than the man.
Mm,
She gets. So, but in the Yoruba culture, they'll be like, ah, Baba Lolomo. Do you understand?
true,
So
exactly.
it's kind of clashing. Do you
Mm,
understand? It's clashing, like comes together. And
mm. So, in any point of your life, have you ever felt like you're different? Like, when did you realize that you're like more like you're different from other people when it comes to this kind of this culture, this way of life, and everything?
Well, I felt that way. Like I remember there was one certain time when I spoke Yoruba
Mm,
amongst my friends. I said like I was trying to like speak Yoruba, no. And then even though I'm a Yoruba girl, do you
mm,
understand? I felt different because they laughed at me and they're like, ah, my Yoruba is Egun Yoruba. That Yoruba is not smooth, it's not fluent, stuff like that.
mm,
So I kind of felt very sad to an extent. Then again, I looked at the whole thing and I'm like, it's not my fault. My
exactly.
dad is not a Yoruba, like a Kong
Mm,
Yoruba person, even though he's a Yoruba man
mm,
from Abeokuta. Do you understand? And my mom too, though she grew up in Lagos, but that English lifestyle,
mm.
do you understand? That's high class, that's Ikoyi, because that's where she
Yeah,
grew up. That
so
Ikoyi lifestyle is already in her. So speaking Yoruba in the house, even at home, safe. Speaking Yoruba is not really
like that's
something we
simply
do
do.
all the time.
Mm,
Do you understand? So it's kind of that was like my first time I
mm,
experienced that feeling of oh I'm left out. Do you
mm,
understand? In this particular era and
mm.
stuff. Do you
But
understand?
at
So
least you know how to speak French. I think it's
yeah,
French
it's
language.
you know one funny thing. Instead of us to speak Yoruba in the house, we're speaking French.
French. Mm,
Do you understand? I was doing so well in French, and my in Yoruba it was bad,
bad.
very bad.
Mm,
So it was very, very bad.
mm,
Suggested that like my Yoruba teacher was even insulting me. I was
mm,
like, you're a Yoruba girl, but you're doing so well in French. Buy Yoruba textbook, you will not buy. But you buy French textbook, you buy French this one. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm
mm,
like, my dad does not have a problem with that. Do
mm,
you understand? Because
yes.
my dad is this kind of person that is a very English person, does not like stress. Most
Mm,
times, you look at him, like, is this man a Yoruba man?
mm.
Because he doesn't act like,
And
do you understand? So I
Yoruba
feel like I took that
from
traits from him.
okay. Yeah. For me, my own experience is more, it's not like going towards the tribal part, like you being Yoruba and all. My own is like way of life. You know, me growing up in a family that is kind of like strict when it comes to certain rules. They have like strict rules. So when you're like going out and you see your friends doing things that you yourself
Ah,
you can't do, you'll be like, "Ah, so your parents allows you to do
to
this
be
kind
like
of thing."
it look
You'll be
like
like,
oh
what's going
yeah
on?
you're in a cage or something.
Exactly.
There's
And
a time in my life,
it doesn't feel that way to me, but
yeah, but there was a time in my life where I felt like I'm in a cage to
hmm,
an extent because I'll be like oh this person is doing this
doing
thing,
this, I'm not doing
I'm
this.
not doing this. Then my
Hmm,
mom will be like what is your problem?
exactly. It's my
What is your
rules
problem?
doing.
It's my house, it's my rules. If you want to behave like that person, go and live with them. Do you understand? So it was
Hmm,
kind of somehow, do you
hmm.
understand? It was
It's
very
just
very annoying to an
exactly. You
extent.
feel kind of left out. You
Yeah.
understand? I remember back in secondary school when my friends would be talking about going for a party, and I'll be like, they'll be like, Clara, are you not coming? I'll be
Go
like,
to where?
I'm not going. No,
You
I'm
will
not
never
going.
see me in that type
You
of setting
exactly. You can't
because I don't
never
have
see me
anything to
there.
contribute.
To be honest,
Do you
because
get?
there's
If you are
nothing for me to
even if
say.
I
So
tell
why
you,
am I
oh,
there?
I'm going to Vanessa, I'll come. Oh, tomorrow I'll come.
So
That day, you'll come to my house. I'll be like,
I'll be like,
Vanessa, are you not
I'm
come?
not around. Or something
Sorry,
happened.
something happened. My mom said I should do this. My mom said I should do that. Do you understand? And
Mm,
most times too, I don't just feel the vibe.
vibe exactly.
Do you understand? I don't just
Mhm.
feel the vibe.
And I
If the
feel
vibe
like,
is not there, I'm not
mm,
going.
and I feel like me also like me growing up as like an only child. I'm already used to being like all by myself. So
Mm,
even if you go out without myself, I will not really feel it because I know how to
yeah,
entertain myself when I'm alone. You
exactly.
understand? So it's like something that I've already
Yeah.
developed and all. So another one would be like, have you felt like you have to live a double life between your home and outside when you're with your friends?
Uh,
Because I know that there are a lot of people who, especially with people that have strict parents. My own parents are strict, though, but they are not that strict.
mine, they
But there
are
are some
very
parents
strict.
that are very, 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 very extremely strict to the extent that they don't just allow their children to be free. So anytime that with their family, like they can't even talk about their feelings with their family. You
Yeah.
understand? So when
There are some things my sister is going to give me like liberty to do. Do you understand?
mm,
And my mom will start questioning her like, why did you allow her to do this? Why did you
mm,
allow her to do this? Why did you allow her to do that? Do you
mm-hmm,
understand? And it's just the two of us. Do you understand? Most times I always feel like, oh, I wish I had an elder brother. Do you understand? So an elder
mm,
brother that will be like, bro, I'm going to this place. So I'm be like, okay,
let me follow
go, let
you.
me
You
follow you, or
understand?
you can go.
Mm.
Just make sure that you do this, you do that, stuff like that. Do you understand?
Mm.
But then again, now that my sister is married, do you understand?
No, you're the only
I'm
person.
the only person, and she's very far from me. Do you
Mm.
understand? So there are times I'll tell my mom, "Oh, I'm going to this place," and then the next day she'll be like, "One who is going there?" And I'll be like, "Ah, I'm going to this place. I already." Personally, if I'm going to like say, "Okay, I'm going out," I have to tell my mom like a day before.
Exactly. You
Because
have to
if
tell
I
them
wake up
area.
in the morning and I
Mm.
tell her this is where I'm going to, you're not going anywhere. You're not
Mm.
leaving that house.
True.
She understand? She's very strict. It's just now that I'm just trying to like just be flexible and be like, I'm an adult, my don't be doing like this, stuff like that.
Mm.
She, if you lock me inside the house, it's you that will marry me, stuff like that. Do you understand? But
Mm-hmm.
she's very, very strict. Just like so I have felt a lot, like I feel like I've lived double
Double
life.
life. Some.
Just like
Mm.
when I'm at home with my mom before, I'll try to
Mm.
like abide by her rules.
Mm.
Do you understand? And then when I'm outside, I forget my home training most times. Do you understand? I just want to be
I
free.
just feel like it's normal now.
Yeah, I just want to be
You just want
free.
to be, especially like doing, like trying to go out with your friends,
Exactly.
try to connect and socialize.
Exactly. So that feeling is always there. Do you understand? But
Mm.
growing up, you just look at it and be like, oh, it's not like they hate you. They're just trying
Mm.
to like put you in the right
Routine,
path. You
exactly.
get
That's it.
put you in the right path. But at the same time, too, Nigerian African
Mm.
parents,
True. Mhm.
you get
Mm. It's normal.
because there are some places you will go to. They know you are going to that place, so but they'll still want to like question you. Do you
Yes,
understand? Just
yes,
because I
yes,
feel
yes.
like insecurity and what is happening in the
Happening in the
world
world,
right
exactly.
now, because you see on Facebook, oh, she went out with her friends and they did this to
Yeah,
her. Do you
exactly.
understand? And it's not actually easy having to like live double life
Mm.
at home. They're fine.
To be honest, it's not people that live double life. They're
Ah,
trying
they're trying, especially all those people that you see that like they are going to school and then they are doing something
something
else.
else.
She
Yes,
gets they are doing
true.
something else.
They're
So many tell my
trying.
mommy that you have a very good child that has good home training, because out there I know what my mates are doing that their parents don't
Exactly.
even
Know
know
about.
about it. Me,
Mm.
I'm still under your roof. Do you understand?
Mm.
And I have that discipline, that self discipline that okay, when I'm out there, even though I might lose home training small, but I
Mm.
still know what I'm doing at that particular point in time.
True.
Do you understand? There are some people, there are some children that once they're out there, they
They
forget
forgot
themselves.
exactly. They
Do you
forgot
understand? They
everything.
forget everything about the training, everything. They just lose themselves and
Mm.
then end up having one mistake or the other.
True.
Do you understand? So I'll be like, Mommy, just calm down. She gets so
Mm.
that's that feeling is
Mhm.
so
Like for me
somehow.
now, I don't think I have, or maybe I have. I don't even know because I'm this kind. Like I said before, I'm like, and like I lean towards the introvert side. So even if I go out, it takes like time for me to, blend,
To
to
blend
relate to
in.
people. So it takes time. Like me, I like being on my own. You understand? So it's
Same
when
with
I
me.
get to a particular place and I'm like, okay, I'm noticing everywhere, and
And
everywhere is
I will
like,
not
okay,
just
I will now
blend in.
start.
I have to know you first. So a
Exactly.
certain period of time before I now become free and
Free
open
with
with you.
you,
If I'm
exactly.
meeting you for the first time, you just expect me to just start jumping and be like,
Mm.
what's up? That mm-mm.
Some people are like that, but
I
I'm
will
not
never
like
do
that.
that.
I'm not
You
like
get
that.
even some family members.
Mm.
I still find it difficult
Mm.
to relate to them and be free with them.
Mm.
How much more meeting a stranger for the first time?
Exactly.
She
Even
gets
myself, if like you said before, even when I'm even like if I should go out with a friend of mine that I actually know, even though we are outside, there's this part of me that will still be more reserved. That cannot do too
actually
much.
one part of me is always still
Do
at home, and then one
exactly
part of me is
well
outside.
outside. So it's like I'm very, very cautious of the way I behave outside.
Yeah, because you
So
don't know who is there
exactly.
that is watching. Because I have a friend of mine. I don't know. Her mom is. I don't know how to put it. Her mom is just somehow. She gets. She can see me now. Let's say I'm out, and then she sees me. Probably I'm talking to a boy that is a friend. The
Mm.
next thing now, she'll put it in her head. Bolu's already talking to man. The next thing, hello, Mom Vanessa. I suck. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, what is it?
Ah, my
Do you understand?
goodness.
So people like that, I always try to like avoid them.
Mm.
Do you understand? People that always do, you know that, and people like this, their children are always very, very spoiled.
Mm.
Do you understand? So when they see that sand already entered their own garri, they now have to come and put sand inside another person's garri. Do you get? So it's
Mm,
always very annoying. Do you
sure.
understand?
Yes. I just feel like we should accept it. Even though being tradition, we should actually understand where our parents are coming from,
Mm.
because this is something I've forgotten this adage, but the adage is just talking about what like our parents are seeing. Like they do not want their
And they don't want
own
their
children
children
to
to
like
go through
go through
whatever
it.
they've been
Exactly.
through.
They don't want them to see it. So it's just their own, that's their own mode of training their own children. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they might come off as being very strict. Sometimes they might even come off as they don't even like yourself. You understand?
There
But
was a time in my life I felt I was adopted because
I
the
feel
whole
like every one of us have felt that way
the whole
before.
thing was just so annoying.
So it's very, very normal. But I just feel like there shouldn't be any culture clash. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, we shouldn't feel like we are growing up between two worlds. You just have to accept both sides. And I feel like if we accept both sides, we'll be free with ourselves.
Yeah, the
We'll
food
be happy
also.
with
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, to be honest. Accepting that traditional part of our lives and then that modern part.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a way for us that we can even bring them together. You
Yeah.
understand? Bring both that modern and traditional side. I remember seeing on TikTok where they were like they we use like a traditional way and a modern way of training their own children when they like grow up, like our own generation. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they were saying. They won't enter because most times the traditional way of training children can be quite very, very harsh.
Yeah,
So
very, very harsh.
they'll be like, oh, they will like join those together to make it more neutral.
I think
You
they're already
understand?
bringing traditional way and modern way together in terms
Together,
of
yes.
dressing,
Even
mode
yes,
of
exactly.
dressing.
Even in terms of
Nowadays,
mode
you
of
see people
dressing.
wearing ashoke in a
Mm.
very
Classy
classy way,
way and modern
modern
way.
way. It's
Yes,
not like
exactly.
before that you feel like ashoke is only for Iramba or
Mm.
just for you to put on
Gele or
ikbele
Ipele.
and then
Gele.
gele on your head and stuff. But
Mm.
now you see people using ashoke as skirt and
Mm.
blouse in different styles, and it's
Mm.
actually very nice. And hairstyles too.
Yes, even
Then
hairstyles too.
Koroba now is
Yeah, it's
now
now
a very
yeah, exactly.
modern
They've done it
way.
in a
Do
way that is
you
more.
understand? I
Yeah.
feel like it's already like coming together.
Mm.
Do you understand? Some people are trying to like balance it up. Personally, I feel like going up between two worlds can be quite challenging. Like I said,
Mm.
you're having to like drop these habits
Exactly.
and
Trying to
pick up these
balance.
habits,
Mm.
trying to adapt, then trying to bring the two
Together.
together. But at the same time, let's not forget that it has its own benefits
Mm.
in the traditional way and in the modern way.
Mm.
Like me now, I always use myself as an example. Take for example, my mom not a Nigerian, my dad is a Nigerian. So I have that liberty, or that right to claim the
Yes,
two
the two.
together.
True.
Do you understand? Like now I have a Yoruba name and I have a
Parents have
Cameroonian
an
name.
half. I mean, half caste.
Exactly.
Please.
If people talk to me, I'm an African, but your skin is African
Leave
half
exactly.
caste.
Leave it.
Do you understand? So when most people even see me, they feel like, oh, I'm a Ghanaian. Do you
Mm.
understand? Most people be like, you look Ghanaian. Do you understand? I'm like, mm, thank you, but I'm not. I'm
Mm.
just mixed. Do you understand? So it has its own benefits. Do you understand? So I feel like people out there should try to like combine the
Yes, to
two,
balance it.
balance it. Don't
It
allow
doesn't have
one,
to be
don't allow one to
hard.
overpower one. Do you understand?
Mm.
Don't allow one to overpower one, and it's you would actually see that it makes sense.
There'll
There'll be
be a
like
problem
a problem.
if you allow one to overpower one. You will see that there will be
There'll
a
be a
problem.
problem because you are keeping this one aside. You don't want people to
Exactly.
know this part,
Mm.
but you want people to know this part. So it's going to bring problem. Do you understand?
Mm.
So in life, try to balance it up. Try to balance the two to avoid unnecessary
Stress,
stress
headache.
and headache. We've come to the end of today's episode on Curious Minds. Hope you enjoyed today's topic. And next week, we'll come up with another interesting and exciting topic to ginger you guys.
Mm.
Drop your thoughts and opinion on our comment section.
Yes. And do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms at View Radio and on Facebook at View Radio Media. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. My name is Clara Jegede, and with me,
Akin today, Vanessa.
see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.